Hey YouTube, welcome to the DIY on how to replace your Honda Accord 2002-2007 4-cylinder engine air filter. You're probably here because you have the service light B12 flashing. This could mean you could eat some more carrots and vitamins, but quite possibly it's telling you to rotate your tires, change the oil, do an air filter change, cabin air filter change, check your cables and belts and other maintenance check stuff. Okay. So this is how I change out my air filter. It may not be the best way of doing it, but it works for me. So do so at your own risk. You're going to need a prep. First things first, safety. Get some gloves for your hands, goggles for your eyes, and a hat for your hair. The time you need is probably around 30 minutes. Remember to turn off your third-party alarm. If you have it on your car, turn off your car, and have all the tools ready and parts ready. For tools, you're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, a socket wrench set with 5.5mm, 8mm, 10mm, 12mm, and extensions, a wrench, and some rags. And of course, you're going to need a lot of core muscles. Okay guys, so this is how you're going to do it, and here's the to-do list. Remove the 12-volt battery. 2, you're going to be basically loosening up the air box and intake collar. You open up the air box, you replace the old air filter and with a new one. You will reverse all these procedures and put everything back together and check your work. Then you go test drive the car and log your mileage and date. It's really as simple as that. Okay guys, with the car off, go ahead and it's time to remove the 12-volt battery. The quickest way is basically you have to take off the negative cable. And to do that, just use a 10mm socket wrench or a real wrench or crescent wrench like I have here, and basically loosen it up so you can take off that negative wire, the ground wire. Then what I do is I get a towel and rag and just basically put it over the tie rods and stuff while I work on the positive side of the battery. And again, use your 10mm wrench and just open it up, loosen it, and pull it off. I always try to use that dry towel to cover the battery terminal when working with the positive side, just in case that wrench touches anything metal of the car. You don't really want to get shocked by it. Then you go ahead and unhook the battery by loosening up the battery ties. There's 2 on the top and bottom. Just loosen one end and you could slide it aside, and it's just a little hook on the bottom. You can actually just slide it off and you can lift the whole battery out. But take off the tie, put it aside, and now you're going to use your core muscles and basically grab the entire battery and pull it up, place it on the ground, aside on the floor, and just keep everything in an organized location. You might want to put a rag on top of the positive pole just in case something falls on it. You don't want anything to shock and short circuit. And there you go. You should have that's how it looks like without the battery there. Okay, we'll go ahead and with that battery out of the way, we can actually get to the airbox. Now, you could already do these screws without doing that, but there's basically just 4 screws on the airbox. You want to go around the airbox and screw all the screws. Just to make sure all of it's loosened out. You don't want to pull them all the way out. You just want to make sure they're loose enough to probably go up a centimeter or so. So basically they're loose and the box is free to move. Of course, you also want to get to that the collar over there. You'll need a 5.5mm bolt to basically open that up, and that's what the 5.5mm socket is for. And just loosen it up so you can actually move that around and so that it's a loose collar. The hardest part about the i4's air filter box is getting this thing off. Getting it out like this is pretty hard. Usually what you need to do is loosen this a little, and the main thing is basically to push here down so that this flexes. You might want to loosen that, but push there to flex, then pull underneath this lip. It slides across and out. So this lip actually blocks it a lot. That's why you see all these scratches here. But the easiest way is basically to push in, remove this battery area like I showed you before. It's this battery area that's the hardest part. But once you do that, you slide it out from here. It goes all the way in and it goes over this little hump here. This is the hardest part, this little hump. After you get that up, you could actually just put the air filter in or take it out. But what I usually do is by the time I loosen that, I just slide the air filter out, slide the new one in, and you're done. But it's really, really hard because of this dumb hump here on the Honda Accord. And this box doesn't have anywhere to move other than this way. So you have to remove the battery. I found that's the easiest way for me. I prefer not to, but there's no other way to get to the filter and stuff. So this is probably the fastest way to basically get it in. Again, new filter. Before, it makes the job a lot easier if these screws were actually pulled up so they don't hang down. There's actually enough so there's no clearance. You don't want to have this thing poke into the air filter. So get all 4 of these screws screwed up so that they don't go down below that bevel. Anyways, yeah, new filter slides right in, and let's go ahead and do that now that this thing's out. So now that you can open it all the way, you might want to clean some of that stuff up, any debris, and just place it right. You couldn't see it because I can't hold the camera at the same time. But I just basically put it, make sure it's aligned, all the gaskets are aligned, and just put it right over it, and we're gonna go ahead and seal it now. Okay, so I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna go ahead and push into there, and then slightly slide it back into there. Just push into this soft area, and close the thing up. Okay, it's in. Basically pushing here, you want to maneuver this thing all the way across under here, and slide it over your air filter. So it goes right over this disgustingly stupid bevel here, and from there, slide over your air filter and just make sure it's seated in place and nothing is like, okay, all of it's all seated, it looks closed, good stuff. Okay, now we just have to screw it back in and we're done, and put the battery back on. Okay. Okay, after you're done testing the car and put everything back together, you might want to just quickly reset the service reminder, maintenance reminder. It's basically on the dash, hit the button, hold down that little dial for and cycle through the dials until it goes back to this maintenance reminder. And where it says like B12, go ahead and hold down for 10 seconds until it blinks, let go and push it down for another 10 seconds and it should blink more and it becomes back to 100% oil life. And lastly is basically the radio code. You want to make sure you go back to your owner's manual or and see if you can find that code. It's a 5-digit code for your radio for your Honda. So without that, you can't really listen to the radio or use the CD player. Anyways, have a great time. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you find this helpful.